What's up, you guys? This is JYoungGo2 back with another video. And if you saw the title of this video, of course, we're going to be discussing the Los Angeles Lakers. Come on now. This is by far the most popular team to talk about this season because, well, let's be real. The Lakers are 27-35. They're currently in a 4-game losing streak. Anthony Davis has not really been consistent this season. LeBron James has really been giving his best, but he hasn't been healthy at all full this season as well. Russell Westbrook has definitely not been the most spot on this team. And, well, you know, a lot of the blame has gone on Frank Vogel and them really blaming him for the team's failures. But in reality, the failures of this Lakers team this season all falls down on Rob Pelinka. I think Rob Pelinka in this case should be fired. I think after this season and what all the moves he's done to really, show what this Lakers team is now, he's definitely, in my opinion, on the hot seat. I feel like Rob Pelinka should definitely not be part of the Lakers, especially when they start to rebuild this team. Because let's be real, there have even been reports out there of the Lakers possibly trading away LeBron James. The last time I heard about LeBron James ever really getting traded was when he was on that Cleveland team that I believe is last year when they weren't really playing the best. That was really the last time I ever heard about LeBron James possibly getting traded away. We're talking about LeBron James here now. And we know if they traded with LeBron, then their window for a championship is done. There's no longer a run-in for them to get a championship. But I also believe, of course, when they acquired Russell Westbrook on the team, that was really when he made the biggest mistake that he could have done, in Rob Pelinka. He won. I think the Lakers, they've been known for what? Hollywood and being one of the biggest markets of the NBA. They're tied for the most championships of all time. They have a huge resume, and their resume is nothing but winning championships. And when they had the opportunity to go out and get a guy like Russell Westbrook, I feel like they were going to hit on that. And sadly enough, it hasn't really worked out. And many people already said at the beginning that this trade was definitely not going to really be the smartest trade that the Lakers could do. And now look at what's happening. Look at where they are right now. They traded away all of their assets for Russell Westbrook. Also, Anthony Davis as well. Anthony Davis, as we all know, once they traded him to the Lakers now don't have any draft picks of their own until 2027. Think about that. They have traded away their entire future in the hopes of winning these NBA championships. And now, once they traded for Russell Westbrook, it made things worse, to be honest. Now, they don't really have any money to go out and afford any players. It just really made zero sense on what Rob Pelinka was really thinking of. Instead of coming back with the same team and running it back, you go out and you do something like this. And you give away all of your great assets on your team, guys who were really great players, great fits on this Lakers team for Russell Westbrook. And look, Russell Westbrook has not been playing really that good all year this year. This guy hasn't been really efficient from the field at all. He's also really limiting the Lakers and their options, turning over the ball a lot, averaging statistically wise the lowest amount of points since his second season in the entire NBA at 18.1. And the sad part is that the Lakers may not be able to trade this man. I don't really think any teams are really going to want to take on Russell Westbrook unless they're a really young, rebuilding team, the NBA, that will want to take on a contract and player like Russell Westbrook right now. And there's no disrespect on the man. The man isn't going to finish his career as one of the best, players to come in the game. But he is going to also be remembered for a lot of his struggles throughout his NBA career. And this season, well, it's really no different. And for Frank Vogel, he was given basically nothing but really offensive players this year on the Lakers. There's really no guys on this Lakers team other than maybe Anthony Davis at his best when he's healthy. That is really, a really great defender on this Lakers team. Everybody else is more of an offensive savvy player. So you're giving a defensive minded head coach, a guy that led the Lakers to one of the best defensive ratings back in 2020. And also they're a really good offensive team, not the best 3-point shooting team in the league, but a really great defensive rating, the best defense in the entire NBA, to now really one of the ranked defenses in the NBA and the 25th worst offense in the entire league. This team has been nothing but a complete failure. This team is worse than the 12 Lakers team. I believe that was when they had Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, Paul Gasol, Ron Artest, and of course Kobe. This team right here is worse than that team. And that's really saying a lot. And because that team actually made the playoffs and were, I believe, the 8th seed. And this team right here, they're not even have a record above 500. The Lakers have been struggling all year long. And the thing about LeBron, we know that in the past, many of his teams will struggle in the beginning of the year, but around the All-Star break, they'll really start to pick things up. I remember that first year when he was on the Cavaliers. They struggled a lot in the beginning of the year, but once time went by, they developed really good chemistry, and guess what? They cruised their way past the All-Star break. Now, when he was on the Miami Heat, they did struggle a lot pretty much that season, but they still finished with a record above 500 and one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. For this Lakers team, it has been completely different for him. They've struggled all season long, and they're still yet to really show us any signs of improvement. And for Rob Pelinka, I believe that he should be the one that should be exiting. You know what's been the most craziest part? You know, they've talked about trading away LeBron James. They've talked about literally trading away the guy who's really transformed this team, which is crazy. And the reality is, it's not really a dumb decision, because when you look at it, LeBron can give your team, if you trade him away, you know, which is never going to happen, of course, but if he gets traded, there's going to be so many assets that your team can have. And if they trade Anthony Davis as well away too, there's so many assets that they can bring to their team to really get a huge startup on their rebuilding process, especially if they can draft really great players. Trading away those two for their future long-term success isn't really the dumbest decision for the Lakers. But, you know, they're not going to trade with LeBron James. But I believe that Anthony Davis, he's already been traded before. And there's maybe a possibility that this man may be traded again during the offseason if they want to still try to get LeBron at least one more ring on this team. Now, look, Anthony Davis and LeBron at their best, they've been some of the best players in the league, one of the best duos in the league. When we've seen them both healthy and really good, this team is one of the best teams in the entire league. And we know this because guess what? They won an NBA championship 2 years ago. So we know that the formula for them to win is possible. But with the talent that this Lakers team has now and with the players around them, it's really dang near impossible for them to win an NBA championship. That's why Russell Westbrook, and now having his contract on the team, well, the Lakers, they're in quite a bit of a dilemma, and we will really see what happens over the offseason for this Lakers team, because a lot of things are going to have to change. And I believe that, especially when this team does finally have to rebuild, Rob Pelinka is going to have to go. That's my opinion. I believe after this whole situation with the Lakers and how things have been happening, you know, he's already been on the hot seats before in the past, but now I believe that it really should be his time to be gone from the Lakers after what has happened now. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos each and every single week. Have a great day. Peace.